talk to me for a second, Arthur, about purpose. Purpose has got to be a big part of why people come together. I know that you believe that to be the case, but there has to be some reason to come together, right?
Yeah. Meaning and purpose, believe it or not, there's a large research literature on meaning and purpose. And the interesting thing about it is that it sort of stands apart from the happiness literature. So you'd think on its face that meaning and purpose are part of happiness, but most psychologists believe that meaning and purpose are different than happiness, and sometimes they're opposed to happiness. And here's the argument, basically. So a lot of people who are watching us or listening to us, they're not, I mean, we're all leaders in a certain way, but they're not necessarily leaders of companies. But everybody has led others. And one of the ways that a lot of people do it is that they're parents, right? Now, here's the interesting thing in the happiness literature. People, when they first get married, their happiness is super high. And when they have their first child, their happiness falls. Now, that's crazy, right? Because you'd think that therefore people would completely stop having kids. But this is an empirical regularity. You see it over and over and over again in the data. Why do people say that having kids is the greatest thing ever, despite the fact that I got the data that their happiness falls? And the answer is because the meaning and purpose goes through the roof, even as their self-stated happiness falls. This is the same thing in all kinds of different parts of our lives. You find that when people go to college, their happiness falls, but their meaning and purpose rises. When people fall in love, I mean, when they're dating and this really stormy thing where, you know, they want to kill each other and they don't know whether to cry or laugh. It's terrible. It's like being, you know, it's like a period of mental illness almost for a lot of people, that their happiness can be really low, but their sense of purpose and meaning is really high. When they go through a crucible, a difficult time. My son is a Marine. He's in the infantry in the U.S. Marine Corps. And when he was doing his boot camp, he had to do this crucible where he had a broken foot. And he had to march 48 miles on a broken foot. And you know, it was horrible. And he was miserable. And he talks about it like so much purpose and so much meaning. And he learned so much about what he could do. And that's the key thing to understand about meaning and purpose. That's what leaders can bring to others, but that's what leaders need to actually see in themselves. There's a crucible of leadership, really difficult leadership. I've been talking to university presidents these days, and university presidents are going through paroxysms of difficulty, but at the same time, this is their opportunity to figure out what their meaning and purpose actually is in the difficult times.